This is the story of Jacob, from a deceiver to a believer.
A long time ago, there was a man named Isaac and his wife Rebecca. They really wanted to have a baby, but for a long time they couldn't. So Isaac prayed to God, asking for children. And guess what? God answered his prayer. Rebecca became pregnant, not with just one baby, but with twins. But something strange happened. The babies kicked and moved so much inside her that Rebecca felt very uncomfortable. She wondered, why is this happening to me? So she asked God what was going on. God told her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. When it was time for the babies to be born, the first baby came out red and very hairy. His parents named him Esau, which means hairy. Then, right after him, his little brother came out holding onto Esau's heel. They named him Jacob, which means heel grabber. As the boys grew up, they became very different. Esau loved being outside. He was a strong hunter who enjoyed chasing animals and bringing home fresh meat. Jacob was quiet, clever, and liked to stay home. He helped in the tents, cooked food, and took care of things. Their father, Isaac, loved Esau the most because he enjoyed the delicious meat Esau brought home. But their mother, Rebecca, loved Jacob more. In those days, the oldest son got a special blessing from the father. This blessing meant they would become the leader of the family and get many good things. Esau was the older twin, so the blessing was supposed to be his. But Jacob wanted that blessing. One day Esau came home very hungry after hunting all day. He saw Jacob cooking a pot of delicious stew. "I'm so hungry," Esau said. "Give me some of that stew." Jacob, being a little sneaky, saw an opportunity. He knew Esau didn't always think before making choices, so he said, "I'll give you some, but only if you trade me your birthright." That is, the special blessing for the eldest son. Esau was so hungry that he didn't even care about his birthright at that moment. "Look, I'm about to die," Esau said. "What good is the birthright to me? You can have my birthright. Just give me some food," he said. So Jacob gave Esau some bread and stew, and Esau ate it all up. But he didn't realize he had just given away something very important for a simple bowl of food. Years later, Isaac, their father, was very old and blind. He knew it was time to give the special blessing. He called for Esau, his eldest son. Isaac said, "I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Now, Rebecca, their mother, heard this. Since she loved Jacob more, she wanted Jacob to get that special blessing instead of Esau. So she came up with a tricky plan. "Jacob," she said, "go bring me 2 young goats. I'll cook your father's favorite meal just the way he likes it. Then you can take it to him and he'll think you're Esau. He'll give you the blessing instead." But Jacob was worried. "But Mom, Esau is hairy and I have smooth skin. What if Dad touches me? He'll know I'm tricking him, and then I'll get in trouble instead of getting blessed." Rebecca wasn't worried at all. "Let me handle that," she said. "If anyone gets in trouble, it will be me. Just do what I say." So Jacob did as his mother told him. He brought her the goats, and she made a delicious meal just like Isaac loved. Then Rebecca took some of Esau's best clothes and put them on Jacob so he would smell like Esau. She even put goat hair on Jacob's hands and neck so he would feel like Esau if Isaac touched him. With the food in his hands and his disguise all ready, Jacob went to see his father. "Father," Jacob called out. Isaac, who was old and nearly blind, answered, "Yes, my son. Who is it?" Jacob took a deep breath. Instead of telling the truth, he said, "It's me, Esau, your firstborn. I did what you asked. Please sit up and eat the food I made so you can give me your blessing." Isaac was surprised. "How did you find the food so quickly?" Jacob lied again. "God help me find it fast," he said. Isaac was still unsure. "Come closer so I can touch you. I need to know if you're really Esau." Jacob moved closer, and Isaac felt his hands. Isaac said, "Your voice sounds like Jacob, but your hands feel like Esau." Even though Isaac was confused, he believed what he felt. Since Jacob's hands were covered in goat hair, Isaac thought he really was Esau. So Isaac went ahead with the blessing. "Are you really Esau?" Isaac asked one more time. "Yes, I am," Jacob lied again. So Isaac ate the food Jacob brought him. Afterward, Isaac asked Jacob to come close and give him a kiss. When Jacob leaned in, Isaac smelled Esau's clothes that Jacob was wearing. The smell of the outdoors made Isaac sure it was Esau. In the end, Isaac believed the trick and gave Jacob the special blessing. "May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." When Esau found out that Jacob had tricked their father and taken his special blessing, he was furious. He was so angry that he shouted, "This is the second time Jacob has cheated me. First he took my birthright, and now he's stolen my blessing." Esau begged his father, "Please bless me too." He was heartbroken and cried loudly. But Isaac sadly told Esau, "I've already given Jacob the best blessing. I made him ruler over you and gave him all the good things, food, wealth, and servants. There's not much left for me to give you." Still, Esau pleaded, "Father, please bless me too." So Isaac gave Esau a different kind of blessing. He said,
"Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck." What his father gave him was more of a prophecy than a blessing, a future prediction filled with struggle and hardship. Let's break it down a little. Isaac said, "Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above." This suggests that Esau's descendants, the Edomites, would live in a challenging environment, likely a dry, less fertile land with fewer resources. This contrasts Jacob's blessing, which promised abundance and prosperity. Historically, the Edomites settled in the rocky, desert-like region of Mount Seir, which fits this description. He said, "You will live by the sword." This indicates that Esau's life and his descendants' future would be marked by conflict and struggle. They would often need to rely on violence, war, and aggression to survive. The Edomites later became known as fierce warriors who frequently engaged in battles with Israel and other neighboring nations. "You will serve your brother." This reflects Esau's submission to Jacob. Esau's descendants, the Edomites, historically, found themselves in a position of inferiority or subjugation to Israel. "But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck." This phrase offers a glimpse of hope. While Esau's descendants would endure hardship and subjugation, there would eventually come a time when they would break free and gain independence. Historically, this was fulfilled when the Edomites rebelled against Israel in 2 Kings chapter 8, verses 20 to 22.
Still, Esau was so upset that he started to plan how to hurt Jacob. Rebekah was worried she might lose both her sons. Esau might hurt Jacob, and then Esau could get in trouble too. She called Jacob and warned him, "Your brother is planning to hurt you. You must leave right away. Go stay with my brother Laban in Haran. Stay there until Esau calms down. When things are safe again, I'll send for you." Before Jacob left, his father Isaac gave him another blessing. May God bless you just like he blessed Abraham, and may you have many children and grow into a great nation. May you one day own the land that God promised to Abraham." With that blessing, Jacob set off on a long journey to Haran. As Jacob was traveling to his uncle Laban's house, he stopped for the night to rest. With no proper bed, he found a stone and used it as a pillow. Feeling tired and alone, Jacob lay down and fell asleep under the night sky. That night, Jacob had an amazing dream. In his dream, he saw a huge ladder reaching from the ground up to heaven, with angels going up and down, and right at the top stood God himself. God spoke to Jacob in the dream, saying, "I am the Lord, the God of your grandfather Abraham and your father Isaac. Jacob, I am with you. I will bless you and your family, and through you, every family in the world will be blessed. You will not be alone. I will never leave you. I will keep my promise." When Jacob woke up, he was amazed and said, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it." He was filled with fear and wonder. He said, "How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven." Jacob took the stone he had used as a pillow, stood it upright, and poured oil on it to mark the place as special. He named the place Bethel, which means house of God. Jacob continued on his journey. He kept traveling toward his uncle Laban's house. He walked for a long time, crossing hills and fields, feeling tired but excited about what was ahead. One day, Jacob reached a well where shepherds gathered with their sheep. The well had a big stone on top to keep the water clean, and the shepherds waited for everyone to arrive before rolling the stone away. As Jacob sat down to rest, he saw someone walking toward the well. It was a young woman named Rachel, and she was leading a flock of sheep. Jacob couldn't take his eyes off her. She was kind, gentle, and beautiful. Jacob's heart felt like it was beating a little faster. Jacob asked the shepherds, "Hey, do you know a man named Laban?" "Yes," they said, "that's Rachel's father, and here she comes now." Jacob quickly jumped up. When Rachel arrived, Jacob wanted to impress her, so instead of waiting for all the shepherds to move the stone, which was very heavy, Jacob rolled the stone away all by himself. Rachel was surprised, and maybe even a little impressed. Then Jacob told her, "I'm Jacob, your cousin. I've come all this way to see your family." Rachel was so excited that she ran home to tell her father Laban. Soon, Laban invited Jacob to stay with their family. Jacob worked hard on the farm, helping care for the animals. All the while, Jacob and Rachel spent more and more time together. One day, Jacob went to Laban and said, "I love Rachel, and I want to marry her. I'll work for you for 7 years if you'll let her be my wife." Laban agreed. So for 7 long years, Jacob worked hard on the farm. But because he loved Rachel so much, those years felt like just a few days. Finally, the special day arrived. Jacob was so excited to marry Rachel. But that night, Laban played a trick on Jacob. Instead of bringing Rachel to the wedding, Laban brought her older sister, Leah, instead. Because the bride wore a veil over her face, Jacob didn't realize it was Leah until the next morning. "What have you done?" Jacob asked Laban. "I worked for Rachel, not Leah." Laban shrugged and said, "In our family, the oldest daughter must get married first. But if you work another 7 years, you can marry Rachel too." Even though Jacob was upset, he loved Rachel so much that he agreed. He worked 7 more years, and finally, Jacob and Rachel were married. Jacob's heart was full of joy. Jacob had been living with his uncle Laban for a while now, and things were starting to get, well, a little tricky. Jacob had 2 wives, Leah and Rachel. Now, back in those days, having children was a really big deal. Leah had many sons, but Rachel hadn't been able to have any children yet. This made Rachel very sad. She wanted to have a baby so badly that she came up with an idea. Rachel told Jacob, "Take my servant Bilhah and have children through her. Those children will be counted as mine." So Jacob did as Rachel asked, and soon Bilhah had 2 sons named Dan and Naphtali. Not wanting to be left out, Leah had an idea too. She told Jacob, "Take my servant Zilpah and have children through her too." Zilpah had 2 sons named Gad and Asher. Before long, God blessed Leah with 2 more sons named Issachar and Zebulun, and even a daughter named Dinah. Finally, after a long wait, God heard Rachel's prayers, and she had a son named Joseph, and Rachel was overjoyed. Wow! Jacob's family was growing fast. After many years of hard work for his uncle Laban, Jacob decided it was time to build his own wealth. He asked Laban to let him take some of the sheep and goats as payment for all his hard work. Jacob came up with a clever plan. He asked for only the spotted, speckled, and dark-colored animals, and then he used smart tricks to make sure the strongest animals were the ones that had these markings. Before long, Jacob's flocks grew bigger and healthier than ever. Jacob's hard work paid off, and God blessed him with lots of animals, servants, and wealth. After many years away from home, Jacob was finally heading back. But there was one big problem: his brother Esau. Remember Esau, the brother Jacob had tricked long ago? Well, Jacob knew Esau had been very angry back then, and he didn't know if Esau still wanted to hurt him. Jacob was worried and afraid. Jacob sent messengers ahead to tell Esau that he was coming in peace. The messengers came back with some scary news. "Esau is coming to meet you, and he's bringing 400 men with him." Jacob's heart started pounding. Was Esau still mad? Would he try to hurt Jacob? Jacob quickly came up with a plan. He divided his family, servants, and animals into 2 groups so that if Esau attacked one, the other could escape. Then Jacob prayed to God, "Lord, please protect me. You promised to take care of me, and I know I can trust you." Jacob also prepared gifts for Esau: goats, sheep, camels, cows, and donkeys, hoping this would calm Esau's anger. He put them in the care of his servants, each herd by itself, and said to his servants, "Go ahead of me, and keep some space between the herds." He instructed the one in the lead, "When my brother Esau meets you and asks, 'Who do you belong to, and where are you going, and who owns all these animals in front of you?' then you are to say, 'They belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau.' And be sure to say, 'Your servant Jacob is coming behind us.'" For he thought, "I will pacify him with these gifts I am sending on ahead. Later, when I see him, perhaps he will receive me." That night Jacob was all alone in the dark, feeling nervous and unsure. Suddenly a man appeared, and the 2 of them began to wrestle. They wrestled and struggled all night long. Jacob was strong and wouldn't give up. As the sun was about to rise, the man touched Jacob's hip and hurt it, but Jacob still wouldn't let go. The man said, "Let me go." But Jacob held on tightly and said, "I won't let you go unless you bless me." Then the man looked at Jacob and said something amazing. "Your name will no longer be Jacob. From now on, you will be called Israel, because you have struggled with God and with people and have won." Then the man blessed Jacob, and Jacob knew that he had been wrestling with God himself. The next morning, Jacob limped away with a sore hip, but with a new name and a new heart. He knew now that God was with him and would take care of him no matter what happened next. Then Jacob walked ahead of everyone else. As Esau and his men came closer, Jacob bowed down. Not once, not twice, but 7 times to show respect. He was nervous, but he trusted that God would help him, just when Jacob thought Esau might yell or attack him. Something amazing happened. Esau ran to Jacob and hugged him. Esau wasn't angry at all. He was happy to see his brother again. Both men started crying because they had missed each other so much. "Who are all these people with you?" Esau asked. Jacob introduced his family, his wives, his children, and all the servants. Then Jacob said, "These gifts are for you, Esau. I want to make things right." But Esau smiled and said, "I already have plenty, brother. You don't need to give me anything," Jacob insisted. "Please take them. Seeing your smile is like a gift itself." Finally, Esau accepted the gifts, and the brothers parted ways in peace. After Jacob's big reunion with Esau, God had an important message for Jacob. "Go to Bethel and build an altar there. That's the place where I appeared to you when you were running away from Esau." When they reached Bethel, Jacob built an altar just like God told him to. He remembered how, years before, he had been scared and alone in that very place. Back then, God had promised to take care of him, and now Jacob could see that God had kept his promise. While Jacob was there, God spoke to him again. "Your name is no longer Jacob. You are now called Israel. I am God Almighty. I will bless you and your family, and from you will come a great nation." Jacob felt so thankful that he set up a stone pillar to mark the place where God had spoken to him. He poured oil on it to make it special and called the place Bethel, which means house of God. During their journey, something sad happened. Jacob's wife, Rachel, had a baby boy named Benjamin, but sadly, Rachel passed away after giving birth. Jacob was heartbroken, but he loved baby Benjamin very much and cared for him deeply. Later, Jacob's father, Isaac, also passed away. Jacob and Esau came together once again to say goodbye to their father, and they gave him a proper burial. Now Israel had 12 sons, the sons of Leah, Reuben the firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel's servant Bilhah, Dan, and Naphtali, the sons of Leah's servant Zilpah, Gad, and Asher. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, the boy with a colorful coat, and Benjamin his brother. Even amid Jacob's trickery, God's overarching plan continued to unfold. He had a plan that couldn't be stopped. And despite the tension between the brothers, their eventual reconciliation in Genesis chapter 33 highlights the power of forgiveness and the healing of broken relationships.